Hey, I think it's time we actually get to do the Danganronpa ClapBack when it comes down to it. However, I would like to add one extra rule, or at least one extra game to this, which is Raincode, because do you really think people are gonna sit here and watch a Raincode video because I moan and bitch about how, oh, my Halara nightmare, she still doesn't have enough Rule 34 content? I don't think you're gonna watch that, so we'll mix it up here. With that being said, let's talk about the clappability real quick. I'm really not gonna sit here and lie. When I first saw Dangan, I didn't know what the hell I was getting into. To be honest, the first thing I ever saw was Kaede's execution. And from that day forward, I can never watch that execution ever again. Mainly because it's a character I absolutely like and was the first character I genuinely liked. And the fact they did her in that sort of way bothers the hell out of me. So when it comes down to it, I have PTSD. I can't sit here and watch Kaede get hanged over a piano and then get dropped down for whatever dumbass reason. And then ultimately get killed for, again, no reason at all. So yeah, I have Kaede PTSD for sure. But ever since watching all the V3 executions back in high school, I was pretty much addicted. So at that point, I needed to know what the hell really was this. I'd argue that genuinely, Danganronpa has like maybe number 1 to maybe number 2 best women of all time in terms of design. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, every single female character is a perfect 10 out of 10, because hell no, there is no damn way I'm about to go ahead and get with someone like Sakura because she's too damn buff, or someone like Tenko who hates men for whatever dumbass reason, or someone like Hiyoko who just likes to shit on people. Like, it's a bad time for certain characters, and they're all pretty damn weird. Even though they have like their whole ultimate talent thing and whatever, and they just kind of thrive off that, that still makes up for some pretty weird ass conversations, or at least how their mentality kinda is. Like, is there any reason at all why Hiyoko needs to be a nasty ass person in terms of an attitude while being one of the best traditional dancers of all time? No, not really. To be honest, I really do genuinely believe the best part of these characters is easily their design. Some characters have really good personalities in canon, but then there's other characters that I just do not sit here and agree with or even care that much about. But in terms of designs, I have to admit, pretty much everyone looks unique, they look different, and they're not necessarily screaming the same old that you usually see within other pieces of media or fiction. Yes, they might share a little bit of tropes because every anime does, but they kind of bring their own unique taste to things. Also, it's very much nice to see that these female characters don't follow the standard trope of like your tsundere character, your whole ass like I guess you're like outgoing character or things of sort like that. They kind of have that, but at the same time they have, again, the weird element to them. Like, for example, your outgoing character could be someone like Akane, who is actually really here to box the hell out of people, but that being said, she also doesn't necessarily mind doing weird shit, like, I guess, kinda not caring about her clothes half the time, and just not being super smart. So there is also that sort of thing. Or someone like a Vuki, who, you know, absolutely strikes me as a character that wants to be positive and cheer people on and all that type of stuff, only for her music to have titles like, I squeezed out the baby and I don't know who the father is. So yes, these females are insanely weird. At least a fair amount of them are. The other half are actually pretty normal, like Mahiru and Shiaki and Kaede at times, but the only difference between those characters, to a point, is that some of them like to rub their talents in your face, because honestly, it's kinda hard to find a character that doesn't do that. The only person I can kinda think of, to a point, is Toko, because I'm gonna be real, she doesn't strike me as the type of person that just, you know, outwardly always talk about her whole talent, all that she does and everything like that. And hell, it's probably because of the whole lack of confidence issue, which actually kind of helps her character be a bit more better than anything else. And then you also gotta remember the whole genocide Jack part of her side of her personality. So that kind of also makes her a bit more interesting. And there's really no wonder and reason as to why people like the hell out of Toko in UDG. Honestly, when you look at the whole entirety of the cast of Danganronpa, I feel like if you took the entire cast and really looked at them, you're gonna find one character that you're absolutely gonna resonate with, or you're really gonna just essentially like. That's just kind of how it was. For me, obviously, the first one I would say is Kaede, because again, seeing her death kinda did something to the brain, and at that point, I was like, I gotta see what else did this girl do, because what happened to her feels unfair, even before I knew the actual context and reason as to why, and so I was hooked on the Kaede train. Ultimately later, it started to shift towards the Shiaki train, and then we had that whole one video like 4 or 5 years ago where I talked about which one do I care about more, Kaede or Shiaki, and ultimately I said Shiaki because she has more stuff going on, versus Kaede, who we really don't know anything about, and it's a bit unfortunate if I'm gonna be honest. So when it comes down to that point, it's just kind of, it is what it is sort of situation. Still to this day though, I still like both of these characters very much, and possibly are my top picks of really any other character within the series. But that's just covering the characters that is, you know, on the quote-unquote good guy side. We haven't even talked about people like Junko yet, because Junko is obviously someone I can just make a whole essay about over and over and over. But when it comes down to it, to put it simple terms, despair chick, despair ass cheeks, despair chick that basically wants to have despair babies, because of course she does. That's just kind of how she is, right? That's my interpretation, because why did they make the female villain so damn fine? Like literally, if you don't know anything about Danganronpa, you sure as hell seen this character before. She is definitely clappable to the highest degree, kinda worth it, but also really not, because at the same time, she's possibly one of the most craziest people in anime history. Honestly, I would like to see her and Yuno kind of throw hands to see who would come out on top. I assume it will be Yuno, but then again, you never really know with this chick. You just don't. To be honest, there is just a charm to Danganronpa waifus. There is just something there that I absolutely enjoy. And sure, again, while I may not necessarily enjoy every single character like Anji or Sonya Nevermind or whatever, there is other characters that do fit what I like. And honestly, there's a reason why I chose to use them as the beginning parts of my channel like so many years ago when I first started, because I thoroughly enjoyed each and every one of them. That being said though, if we had to rank on a scale of clappability, again, it strikes me as a number 1 to number 2 position of the most clappable people of all time, so it no doubt gets a 10 out of 10 from me personally. But that's kind of what you expect from any character created by Kodaka, considering literally he is so damn good at just crafting these characters. Which brings us to the other game, Rain Code. A game that possibly most people don't necessarily know shit about, because I haven't really seen people play this shit at all, much less I haven't really even seen a quote-unquote community of this game. That being said, there is tons and tons of fine women in this game just as much. Not nearly as a big cast as Dangan, but at the very same time, it's worth a damn to kind of look at. You know, for example, again, the very much genderless Halara Nightmare, quote-unquote genderless, even though I'm fully confident that that's a fine ass woman just hiding under things under that damn jacket, on being honest, worth the clapping all the damn time. And even if it wasn't the case, still clapping all the damn time. It is what it is. You don't make a character look this damn good, voiced by Amber Lee Connors, and then thinking, oh yeah, this is exactly what we have here. This is not necessarily a character that anybody's gonna care for. Psych, take that back immediately. Again, Junior, who does the art of some of the Halara pictures on Rule 34, he is literally cooking. But that's besides the point. Halara is obviously and possibly easily my favorite girl out of anybody, despite her being money hungry as hell, much less also not wanting people to touch her, because she's very much against people, which I feel that. But that's not even the only character that I like to gush over when it comes down to Rain Code. You obviously got basically the clone of Junko, but a spirit version of her, which is Shinigami, who just is absolutely weird and likes to throw up all the time while also flaunting her boobs everywhere. You also get someone like Wendy, who is not necessarily the restaurant, but also don't look that bad herself, and kind of reminds me of a less gamer version of Shiaki. Then you get someone like Pucci, who is basically Shiaki, however has a little bit of an attitude in the best way, but we don't really get to explore because she literally dies within the first hour of the game. It sucks. So that's just how that kind of goes at times. Then you get someone like Fubuki Clockford, who is also pretty damn good, but hella dumb. I'm not gonna lie, possibly the fan favorite out of anybody in this entire game, which is crazy because you still have Halara and plenty of other people to go, like Martina Electro, who by far is one of the hottest female villain characters I've seen in a good long minute. I'm not gonna sit here and lie, she just is. How has no one really gone ahead to do more to the fore on her? I don't know, and it still to this day baffles the hell out of me. Then you get someone like the person's name I can't pronounce the first name, but I can't say their last name, which is Hall. She is by far the character I had the most interest in when it came down to going into this game, playing it, and understanding what's going on. Unfortunately, she only appears for one damn act and basically dips off the face of the planet. And it's stupid, it sucks, and I genuinely hate it. Literally, why would you make a good design of a character if you're not going to use it properly? And that's kind of like the one bad thing about Kodaka's characters. Sometimes they just come through, be the best looking character ever, only for them to literally be wasted for no type of reason. But at the very same time, it's such a painful move, right? That's basically how I felt about everybody in the beginning of Rain Code, and how everybody basically got caught on fire because of shenanigans. And again, there's still some wide variety of female characters, at least a little bit. You got that nun that basically is at the church, the girl with the gun all the time that wants to try to blast your brains out. You got like, I don't know, the whole ass other trio of girls that you had to basically take down in the name of justice, who also, I feel like, are baddies as hell, if I'm gonna be honest. There is a fair amount of female characters within this game, and again, the fact that this game gets literally zero attention is crazy to me, especially when this game, I'd argue, is way more fun than really a lot of the Danganronpa counterparts. I'm not joking. And especially since it's 3D, it does something a bit unique and it's a bit more fun. It's kind of to form back to UDG, if I'm being honest. And obviously, I give Rain Code another 10 out of 10 just because it is so damn good. Much less, it is also having a lot of waifus that has yet to be realized its potential for Rule 34 content. I will not shut up until I see Jay clapping the shit out of Halara Nightmare. Thank you very much. But that's really, I guess, all I got to say for this one. The clapback for this one is very much just in favor of Dangan. I'm not gonna lie. Again, it is by far one of the better design casts of female characters that I've really seen ever, and I really don't see how anybody say they wouldn't want to clap Shiaki Sheiks, or someone like Himiko, or someone like Maki, and the list kind of just goes on. Miu crazy ass that wants to force a baby on you, but who cares, I'll do it anyway. Like if I'm on that type of time to clap someone like Hatsume from MHA, you know damn well I'm on that type of time to clap someone like Miu, so it is what it is. But ultimately, that's all I got to really say for this one. So hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification me out. Also on socials. And if you'd like to donate to the channel, Kofi and Cash App is available as well. And until then, it's me, boy Jay. Sign off. Have a blessed day.